car is still a blast. This still does pull harder than the Z for sure, which is what makes it a ton of fun. God, this car is good. Still good. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm kind of back with just a general everything update. Just kind of keep you updated on what's going on. It is quarantine still. Wife and I are still locked in there. I haven't driven this car. Wow, a couple weeks probably, because I haven't driven anywhere. I went to work like once in the past month and a half because of quarantine. But essentially I wanted to get this car out, get it driving, get some few miles on it, get all the fluids moving, and kind of just give an update, everything that's going on. So in the Subaru, let's start real quick with just life update, which is kind of just crazy. It's still quarantine, like I said. My wife got furloughed last week, but her last day was actually yesterday. It was a Friday. She's furloughed for 6 weeks. Luckily, it's 6-week furlough. The company she works for, they don't make essential products. So, you know, they're not doing well right now. It's a worldwide company, so the company itself will be fine. But essentially, it's stuff you wouldn't buy in quarantine. So they're furloughing some workers. She's off for 6 weeks. Luckily, with unemployment and everything, she's almost getting her whole compensation. We don't really have any debt except for our house. We're savers. My job is actually an essential job. I work in finance. My company does essential stuff. So I'm actually really busy right now. So we're fine financially and all of that from that standpoint. It's just interesting times. So she's gonna have 6 weeks off, getting still unemployment, getting almost all of her pay, but it's just interesting. She has no idea what she's gonna do for 6 weeks. But anyway, that's life update. Let's get into the cars and the channel. So let's dive into the Subaru. Don't need to really talk about the Z. There's nothing new with that. That wasn't in my 1-year update video. So the Subaru, I just put on the summer tires a couple weeks ago. These are my original summer tires that were put onto the new wheels, the new rims that I got. That was like 3-4 years ago. So I have a tread reader, and it's probably got about this summer left of tread. It's in the yellow. There's like green, yellow, red on the tread reader. It's in the yellow. I can definitely make them work this summer. Not so sure about next summer. And the whole idea with that is to not get new tires, summer tires for this car, because I want to get the new STI whenever that comes out, or probably want to get the new STI when that comes out. So I don't want to put more money into this car that I don't really need to, especially if the tires will work until then. We'll talk about that later in the video. But anyway, put the new tires on, so those are good. These are fine. What else with the Subaru? A couple quick things that, like from the 5-year update, a couple things I noted that have kind of changed. One is the squeaky clutch, which is oh my God, I'm forgetting, it's blanking right now, but everybody in the comments said what it was, so we know what it is. I haven't gotten that fixed. It's gotten a little more squeaky. It's still not horrible. I'm not sure if it's a necessity to get it fixed because it drives fine, and if I'm gonna be trading the car into a dealer at some point, I'm sure they might just fix it when I trade it into them when I get a new car, because it's not too bad. It's just kind of on startup, and that's about it. So the squeaky clutch is slightly worse, not too bad still. The other bigger thing is in my 5-year update video, I talked about the check engine light that always came on in the winter whenever it got below like 30 or 25 degrees. And now this car, for the first 5 years of its life, going on 6 years now, was always kept outside in the winter, so it always had that check engine light on. Well, now that I have a house, this is the first time this car's garage kept, and our garage is basically touching on most sides, even underneath with the basement, is touching our house. So our garage stays incredibly warm, and it actually has a thermostat in the garage, and it never really got below 50 all of winter. Even when it's 10 degrees out in the winter, the garage still stayed about 50 degrees. So this car has not had the winter check engine light, which is awesome, because check engine lights in the Subaru make it so that you cannot drive with cruise control on. So that's kind of fixed. It must have just been a cold weather thing. That was what my guess was anyway, because it was only coming on in the winter, but I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's pretty good. I think that's really it for the Subaru that I can think of. The couple changes, just want to keep you updated, and I thought you guys would be interested in. I know you guys are mainly here for the Subaru. Hopefully, we'll talk about at the end of the video. I get a new Subaru soon. But anyway, we'll talk about that in the end of the video. Let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing is my wife's car. Essentially, it hasn't really had any major problems, but it's the Audi A3, if you don't remember. It's got 100,000 miles now, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe it has 100,000 miles now. She used to have a really long commute with her previous job. But it's 2015, 100,000 miles. The only two problems it has, which again are very minor, it's not a big deal, is that it burns oil. It is a 2-liter turbo German engine. It does burn oil. Essentially, I have to put in like a half a quart between every oil change. The light comes on, it says it's getting low, and I put in a half quart, and it's fine. So it's not a big deal. What I'm spending like maybe 15 bucks every year on adding oil to the car, not a big deal. And then the coolant as well, it seems to burn off coolant a lot. So again, I'm adding a little bit every like 3-4 months. Again, maybe another 15 bucks, so it's an extra 30 bucks a year to maintain. Not a big deal, it's just more of an annoyance. But the car is at 100,000 miles, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, we'll start looking at new cars. We don't need anything, it runs fine. But 100,000 miles, car's getting a little older, looking at new stuff. So the funny thing about this is my wife is picky about cars. There's certain things she really likes, and it's kind of hard to find the perfect car for her. But I think we finally did. Not saying we're gonna buy it now or this year, maybe 2021 might be the year we buy it. But essentially she wants something very small. She likes very small cars, but 4 doors for when we have a family. You know, even small 4-door cars, they can still fit kids in the back until they're probably 10. So essentially, even if we get a new car and have it for 6-7 years and we have young kids, they'll fit fine, even though it's a really tiny 4-door. So we still want a 4-door car, small, prefers all-wheel drive. We're looking to get her something slightly more sporty just because she wants to do some more like fun car stuff, and she does really want to do autocross. So I've shown her a bunch of cars, and there's always something she didn't like. And she kind of likes that entry-level luxury, likes a little bit of that luxury. And she really likes good-looking cars. She won't really drive anything like a Corolla, let's say, that isn't as sharp-looking. So went through a bunch of cars, and I finally found a car I thought she'd like, and I showed it to her, and she absolutely loves it. So this is definitely top of the list. But it is the Mercedes CLA, the brand new one, the 2021, which was completely redesigned. And it is a sharp-looking car, and she loves it. It has everything she wants. It's got the dual clutch with the 2-liter turbo, so it's a little sporty. The CLA is essentially the sportier version of the A-Class. It's a sedan. She likes sedans. It's very small. And again, it's not gonna break the budget. It starts like 36 grand or something. But one funny thing about that is she likes the car. I was kind of looking at them online at the Mercedes dealerships, and Mercedes essentially has 3 versions of this car that they keep at the dealer of the regular CLA. And they're pretty much priced at like 42 grand, with all the packages that they get and what they think people will want. They have like a bunch that are at 42 grand with certain packages, a bunch at 48 grand with certain packages, and then a bunch at like 52 grand, which is like fully loaded, right? The 42 grand one has doesn't have a lot of the stuff that we do want, but the 48 grand one has pretty much everything we want. So then I was looking some more, and the base CLA AMG is 48 grand and pretty much has all those packages. So it's one of those things where I was looking and I'm like, well, we can get an AMG for like the same price as the CLA, or we can get a CLA AMG for the same price as like the regular base CLA with all the packages we want. So I'm kind of looking down that route. Again, nothing's coming soon. It'll definitely be at least like 6 months before we would even buy anything. But it's just something interesting. I think it'd be pretty cool to have a CLA AMG. And it'd be cool to add to the channel, do some a review of it, do some long-term updates on it, and a few little things. Might take it on some fun roads and some fun trips. Okay, lastly, let's just move on to the channel update, which isn't a whole lot. Pretty much what I wanted to say is a couple things. You've probably heard it before. Most of this is probably a repeat, but we were going to do Kentucky Motor Speedway autocross event. We were going to do that and a bunch of other autocross events, which have all just been canceled now because of coronavirus. So that's scratched. In June, we had a big trip planned with like 10 or so friends. We were all going to go down to Asheville and drive the Tail of the Dragon. Was pumped about that, and was going to do possibly like my first vlog style thing with that, and do a whole, weekend trip and kind of film as much as we could. Plus, on top of that, have the really cool Tail of the Dragon footage. But that obviously fell through. June stuff might be open again, but like, who knows if a lot of these restaurants and bars and breweries, there are a lot of breweries in Asheville, will be back open in June, because people still might be afraid to go out, which means breweries and restaurants aren't going to open. So that trip's pretty much scratched. We might try to do that in the fall now. So essentially that sucks. The channel stuff, I'm just kind of whatever I can think of. I'm trying to do some stuff like this video. But the main thing with the channel update that I've talked about many times is I want to replace this car. and I'm still leaning towards like a new redesigned STI, which is why I haven't done anything to this car in a couple of years. I'm just kind of like waiting for the new car, because when I got this car, I didn't have the money to really do anything to it. I was fresh out of college. There's a bunch of other stuff going on, student debt. Now that I have money and we're both adults and, you know, we have very good jobs and everything's paid off except for our house, I want to get that STI, probably the new one, and really just start doing stuff to it, and really having this channel just be like a really fun channel where I've got the brand new car, a bunch of people want to watch what's going on. I can put money into it, start with like instantly an exhaust intake, and then as soon as Cobb or other people do stuff, get an access port, do a full exhaust, get more power out of it, just make it a fun car, a fun channel car. So that's really the channel update. I'm just waiting on Subaru to show something. I'm really hoping, it sounds like now it's going to be a 2022 model, or at least it's, 2022 model, maybe shown off like the end of this year, early into 2021, and maybe come out in the summer of 2021. So that'd be like a year from now. So essentially that's really the channel updates, just waiting on that stuff. And a lot of the fun stuff we were going to do this summer is all canceled. But that's really about it. I talked a lot during this video. I got this up to full operating temp, which is cool. This thing hasn't been driven in a couple of weeks, and I'm just talking and talking. So sorry if this video is longer. I wanted to keep it short. It sounds like it's going to be long, but appreciate you watching. Hope everybody's doing well, and coronavirus isn't bringing everybody down. Hopefully this quarantine lifts soon and we can go out and do more stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.